Hello, hello, and welcome to the Engineer Your Success, Leadership, and Life Harmony Like a Mother show. I'm your host, Kenya Romanovska, award-winning investigative journalist turned maternity leave and working motherhood strategist. And I'm a mom of three wonderful kiddos, a 6-year-old boy, a 4-year-old boy, and baby Lily, who is just about 2 months today. So I'm really thrilled to come and share this space with you while all my wonderful support systems that I've been designing for years now are helping me continue working, right? And today we are talking about how the motherhood penalty affects your confidence as a parent, right? As a woman, as a mother, and what to do about it. One thread that I see, and you might see me looking down here, we are working on kindergarten registration for my son. So I'm a little bit distracted right now, but I will come back to you right now, multitasking a little bit. One main thing that I see with so many of my clients, super smart, talented women in STEM. I work with a lot of engineers. I work with some academics too, people in not-for-profit, but lots of women in STEM, is that their confidence dwindles. Their confidence as well in most aspects of their life dwindles when they become a mother and they're also a professional. It's a completely new identity. And I remember being at a retreat a couple of weeks ago. A couple of months ago now, we go to Kananaskis every year to the Nordic Spa. For those of you who are not in Canada, there's a Nordic Spa there. And when we were reflecting on what we want to leave behind in the previous year, right? We do this review of our last year and then create in the future year. A lot of tears came in terms of our parenting. Many of us still feel like we are not living up to the parent we want to be. And, when I look at these women, I think, my goodness, these are amazing mothers. I would be, and I love my own mother, by the way, I'm just no, but any of these women, if I was parented by them, I know that I would be very well taken care of, right? So that confidence piece and being a good mother and a good professional, I see this over and over again when extremely talented women I know who work as engineers, for example, become mothers. You don't have a process manual that comes from that, but you are very smart, you're very educated, and you want to do your best. And because confidence comes from execution, it's normal that you don't feel confident right away, right? So why do I talk about the motherhood penalty? Let me define that for those of you who are listening for the first time. And what I see is that it first starts by affecting your mindset through an increased mental load at home and decreased confidence in juggling a career and family. You now have 2 full-time jobs, but not twice the time. And that is often accompanied by mental health and anxiety issues. You feel anxious, you can't sleep well because you're figuring out how to parent this baby and because this baby has different sleep cycles. And even at a later stage, I hear of people whose kids are not sleeping through the night and it's difficult for them, and that affects their mental health. The feeling of having a never-ending to-do list and you're never done. Right? It's just one task after the other. Feeling like you have to do it all on the home front without your partner fully sharing the planning, execution, and follow through equitably. Perfectionism, that's a big one, which is making you anxious in parenting. Doubt about being a good professional and mother, that's a big one that comes up. It's like, can I be good enough in my job? Can I be a good enough mother? That comes up too often still. The concerns about taking multiple career breaks for kids, for parents and a spouse that will impact your earnings and savings, right? And that how that affects your parenting. And even feeling treated differently at work after motherhood or even pregnancy. And that all of that can amount to a decrease in quality of life and how you feel that you can parent your kids well. And it also shows up in your relationship with your spouse. So all of a sudden you're carrying all of that mental load, the domestic labor, the mental load of so many decisions to make when you have a child, right? You kind of can be in the middle of the night Googling for answers, registration for schools and extracurricular activities, and deciding whether you will participate in your faith or not, whether you will uphold the traditions of your family. What is a good way to consume material things in this world? What do you give for birthdays, right? How do you teach your kids to be good citizens? The taking care of their health and taking them to the doctor and the dentist and for their vision appointments and making sure that they are good friends at birthdays, right? And all of that. It's a lot to carry and can affect your confidence in your marriage and how you feel with your spouse, right? You can feel exhausted at the end of the day. And in fact, today I want to talk about what to do about all of these things. So, to address these areas of your life when you have so much chaos in your mind and you feel like you never have enough time for yourself to take care of your health, to eat properly, right? To sleep properly. By the way, I have 3 kids. I have a 2-month-old and I'm here showing up for my weekly live show. How is that possible? How is it possible that I'm taking care of my health and that I've prioritized movement first thing in the morning and I have a career and I have a marriage that is very fulfilling? It starts with some clarity. It starts with some clarity about what you actually want to create, right? And you can do that too on our website. You can take the Motherhood Penalty quiz, which will help you understand where you feel the most affected by it. And then you will get your action plan. And it can help you turn those statements around because most women stop at describing how they're feeling right now, how being a mom is so overwhelming, how venting can help them feel better just for a second. It can feel so much better to offload how you're feeling to a good friend, right? But how is that making your life better in the longer term? How is that changing your experience and perception of being a working mom? That to-do list doesn't go away magically. The mental load doesn't disappear magically. Your body won't take care of itself magically if you don't make it a priority, right? So first, you have to start by getting clarity on the different areas of your life because there's so many to handle. And that's why we've designed this Motherhood Penalty quiz for you so you can actually speak about what is bothering you right now, right? And identify it. But then we give you a bunch of our most popular tools and resources to help you turn that around and map out a new reality for yourself. So it starts with that clarity. Of course, you have to take action. This is not going to happen all by itself. It's right. It's not rocket science, I'm going to say. But at least we want to give you that head start and getting clarity around what the opposite looks like. What's the opposite of perfectionism and doubt and concern and feeling treated differently, right? Let me pull up some notes for you. What could be the opposite all of that? Well, first of all, redefining your career-minded mom identity, designing a strategic personal brand. That way you're showing up as a tired person, as a person who maybe complains or is upset about how things are at work. That's probably not doing you any good, right? So if you want to create more work-life balance and harmony, for example, you have to map out what that looks like. The opposite of feeling lonely is feeling connected. So first you have to start mapping that out. And then you take the action, you put it on your calendar. I teach that in other workshops about energy management techniques for busy moms and caregivers, right? So if you are feeling like the motherhood penalty, I didn't use today the specific academia term that talks about the motherhood penalty as affecting your finances and your career trajectory. That's well documented, by the way. I talked about how it feels in your life. And often it affects your confidence. And confidence comes from execution. And to know how to execute, you need some clarity in that chaos, in that mind of yours that over and over and over again is repeating that to-do list and keeping you stuck and tired and overwhelmed and feeling lonely. Okay? So if you want to have more confidence in your parenting, first define what being a good parent looks like for you. In the MomBA program, where we dive deep into all of these pillars, to get deeper clarity and then map out your action plan in every single one of these pillars, right? I explore that. And now is Parenting Month and Family Life Month in the Mom BA program. And we have a summary sheet of what it's like to be a good parent on your terms, aligned with your values. First, we'll determine your values, we'll determine your long-term vision of success. And this one-page reminder of I will have been a good parent when. And I've had that piece of paper stuck on my wall for a couple of years now. That reminds me the intentions I set out. Because I don't just want to absorb by default what society says about being a good parent. Times always change, times evolve. Our parents raised us at a different time than we did. So discernment is necessary. And the first step for me to get out of this overwhelm is get some clarity. Am I a perfect parent? No. I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't control, right? But I can choose how I influence my kids at home. And when I fall, I get back up and I apologize and I try again. And that's what I want to teach my kids too. You might not get it right the first time. And I feel way more confident in my parenting when I have that clarity and I can go back to it and see, am I actually aligning my behaviors with what I want to teach my kids? When I look back on my journey with them, I will have less regret about my parenting, knowing that I was intentional. Again, I can't control everything, but I can get more clarity and then constantly align my actions with who I want to be for my kids. It's the same thing with your spouse, with your partner. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way. You have to define what a good relationship and marriage looks like for you instead of constantly complaining about what's not going well with your marriage. It's easy to complain, to vent, and to reproduce the same behavior over and over again. But have you actually sat down with your partner to define what a good marriage is for you? Right? I'm recording this one from my bedroom, which is also my office these days because I am nursing my baby. So a lot of action in my life happens in my bedroom. But on our wall behind me, we have letters that we wrote for what we are hoping to create and how we're going to support each other in the process, right? So we're bringing this clarity. A week and a half ago, we did a masterclass together. We arranged for childcare for our two older kids, and we spent some time together defining our desires together and working on transforming the areas of our life where we feel like we are not living up to the marriage that we want to have. Not perfect, but I'm very happily married to my husband. I love him so much. And the quality of our relationship starts with that clarity of where we are going together, what we are building. So if the motherhood penalty, which I say starts with that feeling like you never have enough time in a day, and it percolates everything else, right? Your career, your relationship with your children, your spouse, how you feel as a professional. If you feel like it's affecting you in your parenting and in your relationship with your partner, start by getting some clarity. Get out of the thoughts that are creating more and more of what you're experiencing, the complaints, the anger, the frustration, and take some time to actually write down who you want to be. We did that in the 6 days plan. If you take the motherhood penalty quiz and you get our action plan, one of our most popular trainings was the 6 days plan. We also had a training on anxiety. But in the 6 days plan, so many of us, like, we know that our kids are going to get sick. But have you asked yourself, who do you want to be for your kids when they're sick? Do you want to be a present parent for them? Do you want to be that parent that gives them chicken soup, where you read books for them, where you have something special prepared? Who's going to take care of them that day? Do you have a backup plan, right? So we know that sick days are hard. We know that all of us have to modify our schedules. For some of you, multiple times per month because your kids get sick. How are you going to do things differently to be the parent that you want to be, right? It starts with getting some of that clarity. So I hope that today's recording was helpful and useful for you. Let me know in the comments if you are watching a replay, if you are taking anything away from this, if you have the intention of turning the overwhelm and the complaining and the overtiredness into actual clarity of what do you want instead? How do you want to be on a sick day for your kids? How do you want to be present for your spouse when maybe some of those quirks of character show up that you don't love? Do you want to respond with ego, or do you want to respond with love and understanding? I'm working on that. There are some aspects of my personality and my husband's personality that are, well, they're hard to get rid of. So I try very hard not to let my ego get in the way when these inevitably manifest. He's making efforts, I'm making efforts, right? You need that clarity on the opposite of what it is that's actually bothering you. So we've prepared that plan for you. Again, if you go on prosandbabes.com and find the link to the motherhood penalty quiz, you will get some clarity right away about where, put the finger on where you need to pay attention first, right? One thing at a time. And number two, you will get our customizable action plan where you can actually start transforming these issues into your advantage. So thank you so much for tuning in and for taking some time out of your day to turn the motherhood penalty into your greatest advantage so that you can engineer a better life for yourself and a better world for your kids. I want you to be happier in your mindset and your relationships and your career life integration and your finances and your health and all of that, right? So that you can also engineer a better world for your children. Because when you know your own truth, when you know what you want, and you dare listen to your voice as a mother, know that you can play a special role in this world as a mother and as a professional, you can start thinking about how we can make the world a better place for our kids so they don't have to experience the motherhood penalty in their families. I'm Kenya Romanovska, your host here, and I can't wait to share some time with you next time. Bye.